Hey, what's up, y'all? I'm Anonymous 8721, and Rise of Recovery is coming to you all the way live with our very first interview. Tonight, I got my brother Cy. It's a good friend of mine that I met in the rooms of recovery here in Southern Utah. And tonight, the theme of our conversation, the theme of our interview tonight is going to be from addiction to recovery. Tonight, we're going to be talking about redemption and taking back our lives, and what's possible when someone refuses to give up no matter where you're at. And no, more importantly, we hope that this conversation reminds you that recovery is possible. So, Sai, tell us a little bit about yourself.
My name's Cy Wesley. You want just
Whatever, brother. Let us get to know you.
October 29th, 1996. Born in Delta, Utah, raised here in St. George. Mom, stepdad, siblings. Do you want like my childhood or what do you?
Whatever, brother. So basically you're homegrown and raised right here in Utah.
Yeah.
Okay. What was life like for you growing up, man?
It was rough.
Mm.
So my mom married my stepdad when I was like 1. So I don't really remember. My dad was never in the picture. Things were great up until my sister was born. And then things started getting really weird with him. My mom worked all the time. She wasn't home a lot. But once my sister was born, and then later on, my 2 brothers, like things started to get really weird. Like I was treated different. My home life was shit. Same thing. I go to school, get picked on, didn't really have a lot of friends. Really abusive for me, not my siblings. And probably the hardest part for me about growing up, it's hard for me to talk about, but was for me what was normal, and then watching my siblings and how they grew up in the same house as me and how they were treated was like a really weird situation, right? Like they had everything they needed, they had everything they wanted, they had the love, the attention, whatever. My mom's gone all the time, my stepdad's home, and I would get in trouble for the stupidest shit, getting food out of the fridge. And
this is your stepdad, and those are his biological kids?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
and I'm not going to name no names because they're all from down here. My stepdad's passed away now. I don't know who's going to listen to this, so I'm not going to put any names out there.
Yeah, no, we're going to respect people's anonymity tonight.
But so I think the first time this happened, I was 8. I had to sleep in a bathtub for like a month.
Man, that's fucked up. How'd you just? I'm sure there was feelings of inadequacy.
Yeah,
unlovable, unwanted.
Wasn't allowed to hang out with friends, and then by the time we moved houses, I was isolated from my siblings. Wasn't allowed to be outside with them. Wasn't allowed to hang out. Wasn't allowed to do anything. We go to family reunions. I had to be next to my stepdad. Nobody really got involved. And I found out later when I was grown that the reason nobody got involved because if they tried to get involved, he wouldn't allow me to be around them. So nobody really got involved. And growing up, I thought it was normal, so I never said anything, even though I knew it was wrong.
So he just kind of kept you isolated.
Yeah. He beat me like severely. So I don't suffer from sexual abuse. That's one thing I can't relate to, but I suffer from everything else, and I can tell you that that's probably just as hard to deal with.
Yeah, absolutely. I can relate to that from my own childhood.
I remember one time I was going to Fossil Ridge Intermediate, so I was in like 6th or 7th grade, and he would like pick me up by my throat. One time he threw me down on the bathroom floor and like put his foot on my neck, and that was the first time I ever blacked out. So I started running away from home when I was like
10. So were there any experiences that shaped who you became?
Like in addiction or now?
Just anything, behaviors, personalities?
Behaviors and personalities for sure, dude. Part of me growing up, part of what I grew up with was the whole man thing. Like, don't show any kind of emotion, don't show weakness, don't show whatever. It just made everything worse for you at home. And so I took that into the rest of my life. And then later going to prison kind of enhanced that. I still have traits that I've went to therapy for, and we've been able to like associate that with how I grew up.
Okay.
Especially, and it comes out in my relationships. Yeah, it comes out in my relationships with everybody.
So before addiction, what did you dream your life would look like before addiction? Like before addiction even set in as a child growing up, what did you dream your life would look like?
I mean, do you want me to be honest?
Look, this is about being raw, uncut, and real.
With how with how everything was at home, like I didn't really expect my life to be like anything really. You know, like I didn't have any dreams. I didn't have any ambition. Like it definitely affected my work ethic when I got older, because it was like I just like, what's the fucking point? You know what I mean? Like I
mean, how could you at that? How could you when you're going through that? Like
I didn't have any dreams. There wasn't anything specific I wanted to be when I grew up. I just wanted to be out of the house. I remember, and this is going to sound really fucked up, and mind you, like I've forgiven him now because I found out about my stepdad's childhood trauma. And so basically, when he was dying in the hospital during COVID, he drank himself to death. When he was dying in the hospital because of COVID, I felt really bad. My siblings, when they grew up, they seen how he was, and that's their dad. And I think it affected me a little bit more than them. I've genuinely felt bad because when I heard about his childhood trauma, I don't associate. I'm not a product of him and the way he treated me. Right? I'm a product of his trauma.
Predecessors.
I'm a product of the trauma he went through.
Exactly. Yeah, because that's all he knew. That's all. Yeah. Yeah. So what I picked up from other podcasts that I've listened to, it's called the 2-foot drop. Right. Get out of your head and into your heart. You know, you can actually step outside of yourself, and what it sounds like you're doing is stepping outside of yourself and acknowledging like he's only doing what he knows from what he was raised. Does it make it okay? Fuck no, absolutely not. And especially for a kid at your age, but like that's all he knew because that's what the people before him that raised him taught him, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sure when he drank himself to death, that he wasn't doing it for a good time.
No,
like who wants to drink themselves to death for a good time? I know I didn't when I was out there using. Like I was drinking because I wanted to drown my sorrows and my miseries.
So my first time going to prison in 2018, one of the charges that got filed on me, he filed those charges. He sent me to prison. And when I was in prison, a bunch of shit happened with him and my mom and the kids. And that's when they all seen like kind of how he was, and my mom divorced him. Even when I was in prison, I was calling him trying to make sure he was okay, right? But so like he went through a divorce, like it's just everything. He drank himself, started using drugs. When I got out on parole, I seen him for a little bit because my mom lives next door to his mom, and I was living at my mom's where I live now, and so he would go over to his mom's, so I'd see him.
Okay.
And I could tell you, and that I honestly started feeling bad for him.
That's that.
But he was going through some shit. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that's that grace and humility right there. Before he even, so it sounds like this. He was able to practice grace and humility before he even got into recovery. It sounds like.
Yeah, then it would take it takes something really big for that compassion to come out, but that's who I've always been. But it takes it now it's a little bit easier for me to show that to everybody, and sometimes it's to my detriment how much I can show compassion to others. Like when I was in the sober living, some of the things that I had to do as leadership in the house, like I had to do my job. I had to keep the house safe, right? But I'm not. It's not in me to like have to 72 people or evict people from the house. Like I hate doing shit like that. Like I'm a very compassionate person.
Especially when they got nowhere to go, or it's
exactly
if they got nowhere to go. Like granted, these are the consequences of living in sober. Not the consequences of living in sober living, but like if the rules of sober living, if you violate one of these rules, these are some of the consequences.
And I got to keep the house safe.
Exactly, because if and I get it because I was a manager of sober living at one time too myself, and like if you allow one piece of cancer to get step inside the house and start living there, that cancer is going to fucking spread, and then before you know it, the whole house is going to be sick, and that's it. It's dangerous because you got a house full of addicts or living spiritually dirty, and it ain't long before the dope. The liquor, whatever the substance or chemical is, starts finding its way into the house, right? And
It's just like, I'm glad that it's coming out now, but I think maybe because I suppressed it for so long, like growing up, running away from home, getting sent to boys' homes, Proctor home, getting kicked out of the juvenile system, going straight into the adult system, and like doing the things I was doing, running around when I was in active addiction, right? Like it kind of turns you, and then going to prison and spending years in prison, you know, not just a little bit, but like I grew up in DT, in jail, in prison, like that was my life.
That was my story too.
Like I got arrested for the first time when I was like 11, broke into the neighbor's house across the street, burglary of a dwelling, blah, blah, blah. So I spent a lot of time locked up, and maybe not so much in juvenile, but when you start going to jail and you start going to prison, it kind of like enforces what you learn when you're running around in addiction. Like, don't like,
no, yeah,
it kind of flips things in your brain, and you're someone that you're really not. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it does. Cause so like, through my story, like I spent a lot of time in juvenile, different juvenile programs and facilities growing up, right? Actually 90% of my teenage years from the age of 11 to 18, I was incarcerated. At maybe 10% of that time from 11 to 18, maybe 10% I walked the halls of school with the other kids and did normal teenage kid stuff, right? Like 90% of that I was locked up and incarcerated. And so it started really to reinforce, like, even though the staff were trying to break me of those habits, one, I didn't want to hear what you had to say because you never walked a day in my shoes. So I don't feel like you get it or you understand me. So I don't really want to hear what you have to say. And then two, I was just hard headed and I wasn't ready at that age either. And so the things that I did believe or that were a code of conduct or ethic to survive with being incarcerated just only reinforced that. You know what I mean? The way you got to carry yourself amongst inmates, even as a juvenile, right? And like,
it just,
dude, I never went to prison. I got lucky. Every time I come close to going to prison, and I mean like close coming to prison, I got lucky, and I just happened to have a lot of cash stashed away to pay for it, to hire a real attorney, not some public defender, right? And so I don't know what prison life is like, but I've done a lot of county time, and I'm from Weber County, and it's ruthless up there in the Weber County.
It's almost
jail.
The same from what I hear.
Yeah, it's they call it gladiator camp for a reason. Like the OGs get you ready to go to prison when you're in Weber County. Like they get you ready. It's like boot camp.
It's like 80-90% of the prison population.
Yeah, it is. A lot of white boys, Ogdens, Red States, and Serenos from Ogden are in the prison. So what was it like being incarcerated prison as far as like,
so
without going into too much detail?
When I was a kid, right? My home life was so bad. Then when I was going to DT, they'd give you 30 days here, 30 days there, 2 weeks here, 2 weeks there. They didn't give you a lot of time, right? But I hated when my release date came up and I had to go home. There was one time I got released. I had a tracker. I was on juvenile probation. I knew my mom would call my tracker on me. I was like, fuck this. I don't want to be in this house. I don't want to be in the house with this dude. So I took off knowing my mom would call my tracker. I came back to the house to grab a coat, knowing that my tracker was either going to be there or was going to show up. And I got arrested the very next day after I got out to go back.
Yeah, just pick me up and get me out of this hellhole that I have to go home to. Sure.
Short and simple. Like jail for me was like, I remember the first time I went to jail was a sandwich and a nap. You know what I mean? My veins start coming back and I'm ready to go as soon as I get out. Prison, my first time I went up, I'm not a tough guy. When I went up there, I was scared shitless. When I was sitting in R&O, I asked the caseworker, I said, I asked to talk to the caseworker. Caseworker came into the section. I was in Gunnison, in Dogwood, which is their, I can't remember what it's called before you go back to population or whatever. And I was like, so what are my guidelines? Like, what am I looking at with these charges and my matrix? Cause I went in when I was 21, my point system goes back to when I was like 11. So they went back on my juvenile record and all this shit. Of course and he came back and told me 46 months. I about shit myself because I had people crimes. They don't like that. So I'm like, this is my first time in prison.
They're going to lay people down.
You're giving me 46 months. Well, here in the state of Utah, it's you're on a 0 to 5. You don't see that. You don't know when you're getting out when you go to prison. You don't know.
So just so we can clarify for the viewers, when you say people crimes, we're not talking about anything sexual.
No, no sexual. Doesn't have to be violent.
Mine was down like that.
Mine was a burglary of dwelling.
Yeah, that's.
And I had a few of them, and a few of them on my juvenile record.
That's enough to be considered a people crime.
Yes, sir. Yes, and
the state of Utah frowns on that. Very much. They will lay you down for people crimes.
And I'm 21. I'm barely 21. I got arrested February 2018. October 2017, just a couple months prior, I just barely turned 21. So they tell me 46 months. I'm on 1 to 15s. So I don't see the board for 6 months. They're behind. I don't see them for 8 months. I go before the board. I'm thinking they're going to give me at least 4 years. You know what I mean? Because they are people crimes. Well, I got my letter back. They sentenced me to 35 months. I think it was 35. They sentenced me to 35.
36 months is 3 years.
Yeah.
So you got what?
Just shy of 3 years.
Okay.
But they have the programs in there. So back when I went to prison, the programs in there, they made you contingent, which means if you don't do the program and your date comes up, they pull your date. They don't do that no more. They just make you contingent on being in the program. You just have to be in the program. So I had to finish the program. People call it a snitch program, whatever, but we had our ways around it. So I completed that. I got 4 months off my sentence.
Sure, why not? You can get out earlier.
Yeah, about 20 months in, here in the state of Utah, they have a thing called IPP, the Inmate Placement Program, where they send inmates to the county jails. So they sent me to Park City. Probably the best time I've ever done was in that jail. My last 5 months there, I ended up doing 25 months. Because when I was there, I graduated high school. You're supposed to get a 4-month time cut, but because I was already so close to getting out, it dropped it down. Or no, it was 31 months they sentenced me to. So I got 4 months, so I got 6 months off. So 25 months.
Okay.
So I ended up getting 2 months off for high school. And I remember I'm waiting and waiting. About a month goes by after I graduate high school and I'm getting on the caseworker's ass. I'm like, why hasn't the board said anything? My mom got a hold of the board. The board said they haven't seen anything. All of a sudden they call me out to the bubble on a Friday. Said, here's your release date. I'm tripping because you have to have your release date for AP&P to go check the address. You have to be like so many weeks from the gate. And so my mom was out of town till Tuesday. So I called her and it was like a hassle to get for her to get a hold of AP&P, get them to come to the house and meet somebody else there and approve the address for me to get out. So it was like, I'd been down for 2 years and they're like, you're getting out in like 3 days. And it was just like,
no time to set anything up. And it's like it sounds like they were just trying to throw you back out to the streets with nothing, like no structured plan of recovery to help continue the rehabilitation with what little programs you were doing. Like you got your high school diploma. Fucking beautiful, brother. Like more power to you. Like I don't have mine, and nobody can take that from me, right? But like I noticed that's the things with like prisons and shit or jails. Like all you're doing is caging up the beast. If we don't rehabilitate the beast within us, like, and you let us out, we're just going to keep doing the same thing we've always done because we think what we've always thought. So we're going to get what we always got.
And that's the thing,
and
right?
then they wonder why we keep coming back, dude.
And that's the thing, right? Is like you're a product of your environment. These people go in there, and I can see why people that go in do 20 years, they get out, and then they go right back because they don't know anything else, right? Like when I got out after just doing 2 years, which is like nothing. I'm not even going to say that's time because it's not. When I got out, it was hard, dude. I remember going into Walmart the same day I got out. My mom picked me up in Draper, brought me down to St. George, went to Walmart. I had to get clothes and a phone and shit. I had to go walk out to the car because there's just too many people. There's too much shit going on. Like
your anxiety is through the roof.
Prison kind of fucked me up. And the problem with prisons, I can't speak for like federal or prisons out of state, is it's like I feel like they don't put enough of their budget into like reform for the inmates.
Yeah, that plan of recovery for when you get out.
Yeah,
right.
I feel like they don't put a lot into that. They have good programs. They have school. They have college programs. They don't. I feel like there's not. They need to have more resources to help these people when they get out. Right.
Well, they could be better funded all around. I mean, like they're supposed to be in an environment where you can't harm yourself or others, and people are getting stabbed all the time. It's a war. Like I said, I've never been, but I've talked to people who have gone to prison, and it's like they might as well have been over in Iraq.
It's
you know what I mean? In a war, it's a real war zone in there. People come out fucked up.
It's a different world for sure.
Yeah, and the thing is the guards don't even run shit. They just try to keep you from dying the best that they can. Like the inmates run the yard. Guards ain't doing shit but babysitting.
You got to think, dude. I was 21. I was just a skinny little white kid. Like it was It's scary, bro. Like I remember my first 30 days, I literally sat there on a milk crate in front of my cell and just watched. Just watched what was going on. Like I was scared. You know what I mean? Like I'd never been in prison.
Sure, like I'm watching all these big ass yoked out dudes walk around, intimidating as fuck. Yeah, mean mugging. Yeah, and it's not a place where it's all like sunshine, rainbows, and like here in recovery and in the rooms, like people are laughing, smiling, hugging. Things that are warm and inviting and friendly. And I'm sure that's complete opposite over there.
But let me tell you something though. Some of my best friends today, I have a couple, like shout out to my brother Ty, but like I have a couple people that I met in addiction that I'm really cool with now that have years clean, right?
Mm-hmm.
But some of the coolest people and people that I still talk to this day and people I trust more than normal people I've met like in being incarcerated.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like they're not bad people.
Not all of them are bad people.
No. And like some of these people have the most caring, giving personalities and hearts that I've ever met. You know what I mean? And I think being around those people and learning and watching, honestly, like that kind of shaped me to like who I am now in recovery.
Like, so you're able to take away the lessons of loyalty and integrity, and walk a straight line with purpose and a respectable man.
For sure. And one thing I did learn was to not put up with my own bullshit. And sometimes I don't see my bullshit. Like sometimes my girlfriend has to call me out on shit, which she does a lot. A lot of the time, right? Like I don't see it.
Yeah, we can be delusional to ourselves all the time.
At work, like sometimes, but like I can pay attention to myself and I can catch myself sometimes, but I can like rip myself a new asshole for it. Like I can hold myself, you know what I mean, when I notice it.
Mm-hmm.
When other people say, hey, what the fuck, or hey, this is going on, like I'm able to hold myself accountable. That's one of the big things that like I took from that. From being in there. Does that make sense?
No, it does. Yeah. Like instead of like deflecting it or trying to downplay it or water it down because of consequences or whatever, like you just straight own it. Oh yeah, that's honorable, brother. I know for myself, there's some days I still struggle. Like I want, like, am I walking around being a dirtbag, telling lies and blowing smoke up people's asses? No. Have there been instances after getting clean that I was called out when I should have been accountable? I watered it down or deflected it out of fear of the consequences. Yeah, and 100%. Old programs set in and I ran with it, right? Because I mean, I was out there for 25 years in active addiction. I started using at the age of 9, and I learned real quick how to survive and deflect, and being honest and transparent wasn't one of those things that we did in active addiction to survive. And for 25 years of living like that, that's hardwired into my DNA, into my program, as far as like the internal program in the mind, right? And so like I've had instances even in recovery where I still run into that problem, and I'll get down on myself and not like woe is me victim, but like I'll beat myself up with a imaginary bat and just beat myself in the head with it, right? I'm doing recovery wrong, or I'm never going to get it right. Just shit like that, right? Negative self-talk. And what's been beautiful, what's been badass is like just a program of recovery is teaching me like, bro, take a deep breath, chill out. You're just human. Like, okay, you wasn't 100% transparent in this, so just fucking stand up straight and go back and make it right.
There's like the recovery community down here in St. George, like all of it, the whole recovery community down here in St. George, like there's been times when I was at the sober living house or even now living at my mom's, or like I'll ask people that I know like in recovery down here, say something happens, right? Say something happens, right? I've and just recently too, like I've called people or asked people like, hey, like what could I have done different? Like what was my part in this? Like what do you see from an outside perspective? What could I have done better? What's my part in this? Because sometimes like I feel like there is something I could do better, and sometimes like I can't see that myself. Right. So I want to know. Like I'll ask people like, hey, did you see something? And if you do and you tell me, then I'm gonna take that and just be like, okay,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
no, I do. That's that, like, for me, that's that inner part of me that's just yearning and just resonating to grow more, because I felt I felt chapters of growth and maturity take place, and I just want more of it, right? And like, all I want to do is be a better version of myself today than I was yesterday, and be a better version of myself tomorrow than I was today. And there's some days I fall short, and it's a beautiful thing when we have people in our lives that we allow to speak, that we allow them to speak into our lives. Like you mentioned, your girl, and she has to call you out sometimes. Like, you have somebody there that you trust. You trust her, you trust her opinion, you trust her value. I mean, you know that as far as like how she feels about you is in the right place. And so when she speaks into your soul about something that's not right with Sai, or not right for Sai, like, you listen. You know what I mean? Like, I love having people like that in my life, right? Like, um, a friend of mine that I was recently working for, when I was working at his treatment center, like, I tried to actually get him to see if he'd be my sponsor. He just doesn't have the time. Like, that'll be forever a man that I will desire to have speaking into my life. You know what I mean? Because even when I'm being an ass hat, you know what I mean, or just not always listening to his advice, but when he speaks, I really do cherish when he speaks into my life. You know what I mean? Like, I want what he has to say. I want to hear what he has to say, because I know it's coming from a place of genuine fucking compassion and love for my greater good as a person. You know what I mean? What would you say your lowest point in active addiction? Like, rock bottom. What was like your lowest rock bottom?
I don't know. I know it sounds cliche. So a lot of people, I hear people say that, like, rock bottom just gets worse. Death would be my rock bottom. Like, shit like that. For me, it's like, I think maybe a mixture between the two. Like, it's been different in like each stage of it, right? I think the first time I went to rehab, I was on parole. Prison, I don't think was a rock bottom for me. But once I got comfortable, I remember at one point thinking, like, not even knowing when I'm out, and I'm like, 13, 14 months into a sentence, not knowing when I get out, I didn't really care. But I remember I got a message on my phone one day. I'm on the run. I'm in Mesquite, and my buddy had called me, and one of our best friends had committed suicide.
May you rest in peace.
By drug use.
So by drug overdose?
And yes. And I, like, broke down, dude. And this is funny. So, like, I wasn't even supposed to be at the girl's house, right? She lived with her mom and her stepdad in like one of those HOAs. It's like an old person, 55 and up, right? She wasn't even supposed to be there. So I'm like in the house, but her parents don't know I'm in the house. It's like 2 a.m. So I'm like in the closet, and I start crying, dude. I sent a group chat to my whole family, to my mom, my aunt, my uncle, like everybody. I can't remember exactly who, but it was at least 6, 7 people. And I was like, this is what happened. I need help. I want to get clean. That's what made me, like, that's what planted it. Like, I need to do something better. But then, of course, I go to rehab. I don't like it. I don't like the structure. I get kicked out after 14 days, right? That was probably my first rock bottom. And the only reason I say that is because that's when I first was like, I can't do this no more. But then once I get a little bit of clean time, 14 days, I'm like,
oh, I got it figured out.
Or just, I don't give a fuck. Fuck it, dude. You know what I mean?
When those fuckets set in, dude, they're sons of a bitch.
Another time, like when I was married and my wife's daughter seen me get arrested, that was pretty bad. And then this last time, I've relapsed since this last time, but I got out of prison a little over 2 years ago. Was living up north. My wife came and picked me up. Again, I'm not going to say no names, but we were living in Payson. She picked me up from the prison. I can't remember what she was wearing. She was wearing something that covered. I already knew she was using. You know what I mean? I could tell on the phone. I could whatever. But she was wearing something that, it was like a shawl or something that like covered her arms. So she came and picked me up from the prison, loaded. Like, and so when you get released, right, they give you a printout picture of your face. You drive through a bunch of gates and you show them so they know who's. I'm thinking I already know there's drugs in the car.
I'm hit before
I already know, bro.
I'm
I'm fucking pissed, bro. So it's almost to Tooele, the jail. It's right outside of Salt Lake by the airport.
Mm-hmm.
When prison is, and we barely make it into Salt Lake. She's getting sick. She's pull over to a shop. Anyway, we go home. I stay clean for like 3 weeks.
White knuckling.
That's it, bro. Like she's getting high on the bed next to me. Her daughter's there.
I bet that was the hardest 3 weeks of your life, dude.
Yeah, her daughter's there part-time. Finally, what started it was, well, I can use on the weekends, just a shot here and there, whether it be for sex or for whatever, right?
Yeah.
So I start using, dude. I got out in April 2024. It got so bad, dude. Like, I remember her thinking gang stalkers and all this shit. And I wasn't using as bad as she was. She had like this control over the drugs, which is probably a good thing for me, right? Mm-hmm. But I was going in and popping dirty. Like, I would go in to see an agent, to see my agent or whatever. Mm-hmm. My agent was in Springville, but a lot of times I had to go to Provo and see another agent. I would just walk in and say, hey, look, I'm dirty. No point me peeing for you. They'd be like, cool, sign this paper. What you're getting high on, blah, blah, blah. This went on and on and on. My PO was like, you need to get into treatment. And I kind of tried, but I kind of didn't. Well, I remember the whole gang stalker issue, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm on an ankle monitor. My PO already knows I'm getting high. And she's like, I don't want to stay at the house. Let's go get a hotel room. So I have to ask my PO because I'm on an ankle monitor. He says, yeah. And then he says, hey, why don't you wait a minute? And at that point, I knew, oh, he's coming to the house. So I'm like, we're just going to get our shit to go. And I was going to cut my ankle monitor off. Well, we go out the front door and all of a sudden 4 cops walk up. Yeah, I didn't see my PO yet. And I told the cops, I was like, my PO already said we could go, blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden he comes walking around the corner. I'm like, fuck. So they take us inside. Yeah. Right? She had drugs on her. They take me in the bathroom. He's trying to UA me. I'm like, I can't pee. I'm dirty. I'll tell you what I'm dirty for. He's like, you're probably going back to prison if we find anything. So they didn't find anything in the house. They found shit on her. She ended up going to jail. My PO says and this is like on a Friday or Saturday. He says, you have over the weekend to figure this out or you're going back. He's like, and I'm not going to fight for you to go to the halfway house program. He's like, you're going to go back to prison. You can either get into rehab by Monday or you're going back. And this is where my rock bottom was. I got out in April. This was at the end of June. This is 60 days to being out. You know what I mean? And so I check into Steps. It was a fight with her. She didn't want me going. I check in with Steps up there.
Of course she doesn't. Misery loves company.
And she keeps walking into the building, causing issues. And
into Steps?
Up north.
Okay, but into the treatment center.
Yeah. Oh, shit. Okay. Into the detox side.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, long story short, clinical director has a conversation with my PO. He comes into my little room with the PO on the phone. And they're like, so you need to transfer. So I transferred down here. When I came down to rehab down here to treatment, they revoked her from my ROI because everything that was happening, all this shit. I hated them for it, but it was the best thing that's ever happened to me. At that point, I was like, I'm done. Like, I want something better for myself. Like, I can't do this. Like, I realized how toxic that relationship was. I'm not going to get into it, but I couldn't do it. And I wanted something better for myself. And it sucked. You know what I mean? And I relapsed a couple times since then. And that was my last rock bottom, I think, because I was just like, I'm so sick and tired of going to prison. Like, at this point, I'm 26, 27. I don't want to spend my whole 20s in fucking prison.
Dude, like, fuck no.
You know what I mean? Like, for me, it was just like, I'm done. Like, either I'm going to die or, because I'm not going back, or I can do something about it.
So when was the last day you got? Like, when was the last day you got released from being locked up? When was that date? What was that year?
April 2024.
Okay.
I can't remember the exact day. I want to say it was like the 16th. It was a Tuesday. They release on Tuesdays.
Okay. Yeah. So
somewhere on the week of the 16th.
My last incarceration was in 2021. Yeah. I went in, I think it was August 1st or 3rd. And I finally started coming out the fog a couple of days later. And I looked on the kiosk, what the date was, and it was August 7th, and I didn't feel loaded anymore, and then that's why I was like, this is going to be my clean date, right? And I got out September 1st and was released for treatment, and that's why I asked this, so they can see like how long has it been? You know what I mean? Like, what has being in recovery done for you? Besides, talking about rock bottoms, right? Like there's so many different rock bottoms we go through. An active addiction, right? Like one of my rock bottoms was is like when my mom died when I was 17, right? I was in a juvenile correction facility out in Urrington, Nevada. It was a boot camp for juveniles, and it was on and cracking on this yard. There was kids from the East Coast, from New York, Chicago, California, Vice Lords, GDs, Crips, Bloods, Norteños, Sureños. I mean, this yard or this boot camp was on and cracking, dude. I mean, it'd be like if you think it's hot here in the summertime, and then so where I was at this boot camp, it was a
Did you say Arizona?
no, it was Urrington, Nevada.
Oh, Nevada.
So it was like 3 hours from Vegas. It was like 75 miles from North Tahoe and like 100 miles from Reno, right? And it was out in the middle of nowhere. And they'd have us line up, like whether we're breaking from the chow hall or going from one unit to the next for like school or just transitioning on the property from one spot to the next, whatever, whether it's from school or chow hall or back to the dorm. Like some days we'd have to line up on the blacktop on the basketball court, and you got knuckleheads out there. They just don't want to comply with the rules, and they're just fucking off. And then fights start cracking off because it's 110 degrees already outside, and then it's like 120 standing on the blacktop, and people are just dying of heat out there, and they're getting pissed off. It was crazy.
Yeah.
And so when I was there, my mom ended up in ICU with internal brain bleeding, and she passed away while I was locked up. Luckily, I was able to fly home for her funeral. But when I got out, it was just my whole world had changed at 17 when she died, and I dove off the deep end, bro. I moved out, and I got out and got off probation, juvenile probation, and then so I started using. I thought I was just gonna smoke weed. And I hooked up with this girl that used to live in my neighborhood back in the day. We'd always been friends, kind of flirted, but nothing serious until while I was in lockup. She was writing me, and then when I flew home for my mom's funeral, like things got a little serious during that visit, right? And so when I got out, I moved in with her. That I wasn't there very long before I started smoking dope, getting high, and like we split up. She got pregnant, and that was a whole nother chapter. My mom, like, it was just a really rough 3 years. Like, my mom passed away. I had a baby pass away from SIDS like a year and a half, 2 years later after my mom passed away.
Just like
And she
one
got
thing
pregnant.
after another.
Yeah, she got pregnant, and then we've split up because just the whole baby passing away. Just we let it deteriorate our relationship, and I just dove off the deep end, bro. I went balls to the wall, off the rail, getting loaded on whatever I could, right? And that turned into like a 7-year runner where I was homeless, flagging signs on the side of the road for money for my next bag of dope. And if I could stay out on the corner long enough, flagging a sign after I got enough money for a bag of dope and stayed out there long enough, I'd get just enough money for a hotel room for the night. When I should have spent all the money to get 2 nights off the streets, no, I spent a bag of dope and then barely enough to get a room at a trap motel.
But you're not even gonna sleep.
Exactly. Just a shower if I stop long enough to shower, because I've been fucking up for a week and my skin's
Probably
all
check
greasy.
into the hotel, leave for the night, not even come back.
Oh no, we stayed in it. We
Did
stayed
you?
in it so we could just get loaded all night, right? And that was one rock bottom, right? But like the rock bottom that changed my life the most was this last one that at the end of my run, dude, I was just a live to use and hope to die dope fiend, man. I remember sitting there one time and I had a pipe in one hand and a bag in the other, and I'm just sitting here looking at it, and I'm just feeling like an empty shell of a man. And I start crying, knowing that I can't keep living like this, man. I'm no good to myself. I'm no good to my kids. I'm no good to my partner. You know what I mean? I'm not showing up for them in the way that they need me as a man and a provider to show up for them. And I'm like, I just need to quit. I gotta stop, right? And I remember working up enough courage that I like grabbed some trash, gathered up some trash in a grocery sack, and like I put the pipe in there, I put the bag in there, and I stomped on it and broke it, right. And like this is this is me, live to use and hope that I dope fiend, working up the courage to try to quit, not knowing how to, right, not knowing how to say stop, because I wasn't working a program of recovery. And So I stomp on the bag, break everything up. I go throw it in the trash can. And then this is just how powerless I was over my addiction, right? And substances and chemicals. Like I throw it in the dumpster in our apartment parking lot, like in the back of the dumpster, so it falls behind a bunch of other trash. And I walk away and I'm feeling strong. And it was only for a brief moment I was feeling strong. I was like, this is it. I'm done. No more. Like, you're not going to control my life anymore. This is the day I take my life back. And because I'm so powerless over chemicals and substances, and just the disease of addiction is just controlling my life and everything I do in it. I maybe made it like 20 minutes before I'm diving in this dumpster while my neighbors are watching Tweaker TV. I'm diving in this dumpster, digging through a bunch of trash to fish out that broken pipe in that bag for one more hit. And my daughter's mom at the time, she takes me by the hands, and they say the eyes are the window to the soul, right?
Yeah.
She takes me by the hands, and she's looking me in the eyes, and she's crying. And I've seen her cry before, but not like this. She's crying. Shout out to my baby mama. If you happen to see this video, it was because of this very moment that I'm about to share. Is what planted the seed of my life to start doing something different. She takes me by the hands, and she's like, Sheldon, we need you to quit getting high. We need you to stop getting loaded. I need my husband. The kids need their dad. We need you. You got to stop. We can't keep living like this. And I could see through her eyes into her soul how broken she was. And that's when I knew something needed to change, right? And that was like my lowest low, rock bottom. I've hit rock bottoms, or I've hit basements and a rock bottom, and then went deeper. You know what I mean? But this was the lowest rock bottom I've ever hit. And that was the turning point right there. Now, did I go to rehab the next day, or go check myself in a detox, or did I stop using at that point? No, but I started putting the steps or the plan together, because I had to change my people, places, and things. Like hats off, and much respect to those who can get clean in the town where they burn their life down, right? Like, and they can change their people, places, and things in the same city they grew up in. For this addict, I couldn't do it. Like, I didn't know how to stay clean in Ogden. I didn't know how not to sell drugs in Ogden. I didn't know how not to hang out with gangbangers in Ogden. I did not know how to not be homeless in Ogden, right? Like, so I had to change my people, places, and things. And because of that conversation and seeing through her eyes to her broken soul, that rock bottom was my turning point, right? Where did your recovery begin?
Like for good, I'd say when I came back down here in 2024, like July.
Okay.
2024.
Was that when you got transferred to the steps down here?
I got transferred to treatment down here.
And they took her off your ROI?
I got transferred to treatment down here. They took me off my ROI. I completed all levels of care. I had a relapse on Christmas of 2024 when I was in the sober living house. Kind of set me back a little bit. Now I remember this is the first time, right? Like when I was an inpatient, I was like, when am I getting out? When blah, blah, blah. When I was an outpatient, I was asking them like, yo, like, I'm not trying to get out anytime. I'm not trying to graduate anytime soon. I'm not trying to, like, I don't really have anywhere to go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I graduated the program, went to a different sober living house 4 months later. And because I quit using my connections, I was just going to work, hanging out with my girlfriend at the time. Not my girlfriend now, but my girlfriend at the time.
Mm-hmm.
That relationship was toxic. Between that, not reaching out to people, not like using the tools they taught me in treatment. 4 months later, I relapsed a few times. They kicked me out of sober living. Got to a point to where I called that treatment center, went back to IOP, drank while I was in IOP. So they were like, you can go to day treatment or you can go somewhere else. And I'm like, well, if I go to day treatment and do morning groups, I'm going to lose my job. And granted, I was dishonest and didn't tell my work and everything that was going on. I just was kind of like, oh, I need to switch treatment centers, blah, blah, blah. So I switched to another treatment center that did, and this was my manipulation, right? I went to this treatment center and said, look, this program wants me to do IOP. I'm not trying, or they want me to do a PHP. I said, your PHP is in the afternoon. Can I transfer over to you guys so I don't lose my job? Like, I'm not trying to go to IOP. I'm just trying to blah, blah, blah. I'm using on and off at this point, and they catch on real quick. I'm not going to say any names, but this treatment center, they call me in on a Friday. We don't have.
I love how you keep saying I'm not going to say any names.
Well, yeah, I'm not.
Yeah, no.
But like they call me in on a Friday, mind you, we don't have groups Friday, and they're like, "You got a random UA today," and I was like, "Okay." I'm thinking it's going to be one of these lab tests. I'm like, I'm good for a couple of days. I just got blasted.
Mm-hmm.
I go in, dude hands me an instant cup. I was like, fuck. I was like, I'm
pound,
already
the 15 or the 12.
I can't remember. I was like, bro, I'm dirty. I'm high. And he's like, yeah, we know. We got your last, I can't remember, said 3 or 4 UAs. And he's like, we're going to have to send them to your PO. I'm on a zero tolerance, the APP. So I'm like, fuck. So I go in the owner's office. I'm talking to him, and they recommended going to treatment. So then I called somebody I called admissions at a different treatment center and was like, hey, because I didn't want my PO to know yet. And this is over the weekend. So my PO had no idea.
Mm-hmm.
And so they accept my insurance, blah, blah, blah. And this dude's like, well, come in as soon as you can. I was like, oh, I'll wait till Monday. And he's like, okay. And I'm living at my aunt's house, which is next door to my mom's. Everybody knows I'm getting loaded. At the time, I wasn't being a straight up dirt bag to my family. I wasn't stealing shit. I wasn't whatever. I was still paying my rent, whatever. So they weren't really too concerned because they were like, well, you might be using, but you're not. You know what I mean? But my aunt started paying attention, and I started getting bad, bro. Like just within that day, I was like the 2 days, the Friday and Saturday, like I went really downhill, and she could tell. And I told her, I was like, oh, I'm going to treatment Monday. I'm going to treatment Monday. And I was like, oh, I'll go Sunday. So they talked me into going Sunday. And then I was like, oh, my buddy up the road that I was getting high with, I was like, because he said he'd take me to treatment. And I'm like, oh, he's going to take me to treatment. My aunt's like, you're going to get in the fucking car. So I go in the little camp trailer I'm living in, go pack my shit and shit. I do the rest of my drugs. Get in the car. She takes me to treatment, bro. And they had me in detox for 10 days. And that's the only reason my PO, I have a different PO now. But my PO at the time, he said, that's the only reason that I can come pick you up and send you to prison, because I called him on my way to detox. I called him, was like, this is what's going on. He yelled at me on the phone. He's like, why don't you ever tell me beforehand? He's like, I might still have to come pick you up. He's like, if you tell me before, you tell me what's going on, you're honest with me, you're upfront with me. He's like, I can help you, but now my hands are tied. I have to put in a report. You've already been fucking up. The board sees this, tells me to come get you. I got to come get you. Well, man, my first 2 weeks out of detox and in residential, I thought they were coming to get me. You know what I mean? But that's the only thing that saved me.
Just living in fear the whole time.
Yeah. And that was August 16th of 2025.
And like what he's saying is usually, it's what I've learned the hard way.
Is it true?
Yeah. But I mean, what they don't understand is by the time we've already gotten this far in our life, it is hardwired in our brain not to trust you with the cuffs and the badge, because
he told me when he was yelling at me, he said, and I have a lot of respect for this PO now. He moved, he's in Cedar City.
Okay.
He's a sergeant up in Cedar City, but he told me, he was like, use me to talk to. And I just told him straight up, and he seemed to understand. I was like, bro, when I'm using and I need someone or whatever, when those thoughts cross my head, you're not the first person to come to my mind, because I look at you like a cop. Like, what you think I'm going to call a cop and say, hey, it's like, I'm not going to tell you that, because yes, I told him straight up, I'm scared of the consequences. I can't trust that you're not going to come. Like, I'm not going to come to you. You know what I mean? I said, and that's just, maybe I should. Maybe if I would, you wouldn't come, and now that I'm clean and I see that now, like maybe I could have, and he'd have helped me figure out an alternative.
Yeah.
But I explained it to him. I'm like, bro, you got to understand where I'm coming from. You know what I mean? Like, I'm on my last leg on parole. I'm about to go back to the state prison. Like, you think I want to reach out to you,
Yeah.
And actually,
because when it's like, okay, I'm gonna call the cops and tell them I committed a crime. Don't write me a ticket and go easy on me. It just doesn't happen like that.
So when I got out of residential, there was no beds open, and I didn't have the funds to move straight into sober living. So I had to go back to the same house I was getting high at. My family don't use drugs, right? Like that was my own fault. But because of my behaviors and shit, they thought I was still using, so they kicked me out. And I do remember when they kicked me out of the house, I did call my PO, and I was like, this is what's going on. I don't know what to do. I have nowhere to go. There was a friend I was in treatment with, ended up taking me in for like a month before I got into sober living. But I remember I took his advice. I called him and was like, I haven't fucked up yet. I don't know what I'm going to do. And he was like, well, just keep me updated. Like, let me know what's going on. And he's like, I can help you, and that spoke to me. Does that make sense?
Yeah. He actually was like, instead of trying to like throw you in the cage, he broke that stick.
Or being a dick or whatever,
Okay. What scared you most about getting clean? But that's where recovery, back to our last question, just so we wrap that one up before we move on. But that's where recovery began, is right there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so we called your PO. I haven't fucked up yet, but I'm letting you know. And what happened after that? Like what transpired after? Like
I stayed in my friend's house, told my PO, he said it was cool. Then I ended up going to sober living like a month later, and I did really well. I've been clean since August 16th when I went to detox August 15th to 2025.
Okay. What is your clean date?
August 16th, 2025.
Okay. So August 16th, 2025. So next month you'll have a year.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's rad, brother. August babies right here too, August 7th, brother. Yeah.
It's crazy, dude. It doesn't feel like it's been that
long. So what scared you the most about getting clean?
Dealing with my wreckage. There's things I did in my active addiction, to my family and shit like that we're able to talk about now and kind of make light of and stuff now. But for a long time, and there's still stuff to this day, I have a hard time. Like, I don't want to confront it. When situations come up and I think it's going to be brought up, I think something's going to be brought up I don't want to talk about, I avoid it. Still to this day, just dealing with my wreckage and the things that I have to work through and making amends to those people.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to admit, it's not coming clean because it's already happened. Everybody knows, right? But it's more like, I still want to talk about it. Like, that's the selfish part of me. I'd rather avoid it.
Sure. Because
and still to this day, I have a hard problem with that.
Yeah. And it just takes time. Like, it takes time. Like, because for so long we were so used to, it's easier to avoid than to confront and walk through.
But I will tell you this though, like, since I've been out, like, I've done my best to be like the best version of me I can be, whether it's at home, whether it's in recovery, whether it's at work. Like, since I got out of treatment, like, I got my old job back. My boss didn't have to hire me. He did it to help me because I had some other jobs that I had that fell through and I couldn't keep them and whatever. And like, I guess now, like, trying to just be like a living amends. I work my ass off the best I can at work. I help people when I can, as long as it's not a detriment to myself. Like, I try and just be, since I've got out of treatment this time, I'm trying to like just be the best version of me that I can be, because I don't want to cause more wreckage.
No. And that's all we can do is just, dude, we're just human beings being human, wrong, and that's all we can do is just show up and do our best, right? Like, that the guy I was telling you about that I used to work for, shout out to my buddy Tyson. I love you, man. Thank you for being there for me and speaking to my life. One thing he's tried to impress into me is be 1% better than you were yesterday. So I'd say for me, man, like, when I first got into recovery, I wasn't scared to get clean. I was ready, dude. I was ready. Like, I was so full of hope and just happiness for once, dude. Like, I think the only thing I was questioning was like, how am I gonna have a good time? Like, I only know how to have a good time getting loaded and partying. Because just as much as I like to get loaded to change the way I feel, because I didn't know how to manage my feelings or emotions or my trauma that I went through as a child. Like, and my trauma wasn't sexual related. Mine was, I was bullied really bad because of my hand growing up, right? I looked different from the rest of the kids, and a lot of mean things were said to me that I allowed to become my core beliefs, right? And I was just very angry, depressed, full of rage, and had a lot of heavy emotions to carry at 9 years, like from the age of 4 to the age of 9 before I got loaded, I was carrying these heavy emotions that were too heavy for any child at that age to carry, right? And so, but like I said, just as much as I like to use to change the way I feel, to numb my pain and quiet the chaos within myself, like uh, I like to fucking party and have a good time, right? Like, and so I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna have a good time anymore. Like, this is gonna be weird. This is gonna be different. Like,
I hear a lot of people say that.
What would you say that's kept you coming back when recovery got hard? When recovery gets hard, like what keeps you coming back? Like what keeps you in the program of recovery?
Like
What?
even during my relapses and all that, like just what's kept me coming.
Yeah.
The connections I made, the people that are in the community down here, for sure.
Connection and community is huge, huge for an addict.
People I can trust, dude. I remember even when I was getting, so one of my good friends that I met in treatment when I came down here 2 years ago. I remember even when I was getting loaded, like I just felt like the biggest piece of shit just by getting high, right? I remember nodding off in my truck, driving down the I-15 at 2:00 in the morning, and like calling her and just being like, hey, I just need someone to talk to, because I'm like, I'm fucking high. I felt like a dirtbag for even calling this person, but it was like,
they loved you.
Like, yeah.
They loved you where you were at.
Yeah. And
shout out to this person.
Connections like that, connections, or just the vibe is what kept me coming back, because that's what I wanted. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Because
I felt accepting.
Okay. Yeah, because like I love that. Like it doesn't matter our age, race, sexual identity, creed, religion, or lack of religion. Like all we have to do is have a desire to stop using, and we're in.
Yep.
Even if we're getting loaded, as long as we have that desire, we are welcomed, right? Like my girl, she's a normie, and the recovery community has just welcomed her in with open arms and loved her, and treats her like one of us. You know what I mean? What about like today, current life for Sai? When what keeps you coming back when recovery gets hard?
The connections. That's the biggest part of me. That's the biggest part for me, is like the connections with the people I have around me, especially this time, like really diving into it and showing up for myself. Like I wouldn't have it, like just the connections I have with people, whether it be normies or it be my family or it be people in the community down here. People I can talk to. Like the connection thing is a really big part for me, because growing up I never had that, and I think that's why that is, right? When I was using drugs, I found that connection with people. Now I'm in a spot and I'm around good people and I'm in a good community where I can be clean and still have that connection, but better.
Yeah, absolutely.
Does that make sense?
Yeah,
so that's like the biggest thing for me.
You can have all that on a whole nother level.
Yeah.
Because the substances and chemicals have been removed.
Yeah.
And you're able to feel it more, be present more for it, all the things more around that, right? How important has community? Or we just covered that, so we don't even go into that. We pretty much covered how important community is. What tools do you use today to help you stay clean?
I try and reach out to people.
Okay.
Sometimes I still have a hard time. Like I catch myself in my head and then things start going. I have this problem where I get wrapped up in what's going on in my head, that like I'm not doing my part in my relationship. Mostly that, like I'm not doing my part in my relationship, or I'm not doing my part of like in anything I'm supposed to be doing. And then eventually someone calls me out, or I notice it myself, and like, yeah, my mind went blank.
Okay, that's all right. Yeah, that's all right, brother. That's all right. So I'd say for me, right, the tools that I've used today to stay clean, right, like, you're coming up on a year next month. I'm coming up on 5 years next month. Like, by no means we have not arrived any fucking where. The only time we arrive anywhere is when we show up to a meeting or to a service commitment or to an event that's being put on by the recovery community and the recovery program, right?
Mm-hmm.
For me, that's the only time I've ever arrived. I arrived at a meeting, right? I ain't arrived at shit. By no means, like, and I truly believe that you would agree with me on this. By no means are we cured.
Mm-mm.
Just because we got some time away, some extended time away from our last use, done some work on ourselves. By no means are we cured, right? So, like, from year 3 to coming up on year 5, there's been 2 rough seasons back to back. Like,
Yeah.
life is still good and beautiful, but like, I'm going through a reunification process with my kids, and now this is where I get to be honest and accountable what the program of recovery has given me. Like, and it was hard to admit at first, but watching other people hold themselves to this accountability gave me the hope and strength to hold myself to this accountability. My babies were caught in the crossfire of my addiction, and my middle daughter, who's just turned 10 in May. I got 2 daughters. They're 3 years and 1 week apart from each other in May. That's an expensive month for me.
Yeah. At least it's not December.
You know, my middle daughter, I love her to death, man. She's my bestie, and she just wants nothing to do with me. And that has been rough through this reunification process, right? Like, we had a really good visit. We went to court. I had to like start taking stuff to court to get anywhere with baby moms, which I don't blame them. You know what I mean? You're doing what you think is best for the kids. And all you're used to is me blowing smoke up your ass.
Yeah.
Telling you this time is going to be different. I'm going to change X, Y, and Z, and nothing changes because nothing changes, right? Because I'm not doing anything different. I'm not working a program of recovery back then. So that's all you know. That's all Sean's ever taught you. That's all Sean's ever given you. So, you know, my daughter's had a choice set of words that she used that I know it's her feelings, but at the same time, it sounds really scripted, like a real adult size real adult size things to say. And those things cut really deep. And I know there's truth in there.
Whether it's being said to her or whether she's hearing it.
Yeah, that. And I know there's truth in there, like somewhere in there. I know it's her truth as well. Of her telling me how she feels, and that shit cut deep.
Yeah.
And again, I'm an addict who likes to use for effect, bros, to change the way I feel. And I haven't arrived anywhere. And I don't just because I've done a little bit of work leading up to this point at 3 years, in between 3 and 4 years clean, you know, the thought had crossed my mind, like, I could use to change the way I feel. But did I? Absolutely not. Like, I used the tools of a 12-step program of recovery that it's given me. I went to a meeting. I reached out to somebody who's gone through it and still walking tall and has the same clean date, right? Like, I've talked to somebody that has gone through what I'm going through at that time. I went to more meetings. I called my sponsor every day during that chapter, right? And I leaned into the program of recovery. I leaned into my foundation of recovery, right? And then, like, this year 4 to 5, dude, I've had a hard time trusting the process of life on life's terms. Like, when it comes to a 12-step program of recovery and the rooms, like, I trust that wholeheartedly without a doubt. Like, if you were to tell me today that if I had to go something obscene that you normally wouldn't tell somebody to stay clean, like, I don't know, I'm gonna shoot some out here in the dark. It's gonna sound crazy, but like, you know, go pick up dog shit with your bare hands and throw it away. First off, picking up poop or coming anywhere near poop, I gag and throw up. But I just can't fucking do it. Yeah, like, I use a shovel, and then I, like, with another 3-foot pole on that shovel to stay as far away from it as possible, so I don't come in contact with it, right? But if you were to tell me to go pick up dog shit with my bare hand and I'll stay clean, I will do it because I trust the process of recovery in a 12-step program.
Yeah,
it has proven to work in my life, and I trust it without a doubt. But when it comes to everything out here on life's terms, I don't trust it. I doubt the process. I don't think the life on life's terms has got my best interest at heart, and it does, and it's not always going to do it. And that's where I've had a lack of. I haven't always had a lack of faith in my higher power in my recovery, but there's been some chapters from year 4 to 5 where I've had a lack of faith in the process, right? And so what am I doing? I'm doing it my way, and I started living spiritually dirty, doing things my way. And what I'm doing is I'm shitting everywhere I go, and I'm stepping in it, and then I'm frustrated because things aren't working out. So I'm picking it up and throwing it at people, being unmanageable. And my higher power saw fit to teach me that clean time doesn't equal recovery. I'm super grateful for that lesson. You know what I mean? It's like it's really had me like digging in and looking at like how are you carrying yourself in recovery and the program that you're working, right? And instead of running from those uncomfortable feelings, I just leaned into the program more. I leaned into those lessons. I leaned in, instead of why is this happening to me? I started leaning more into this is happening for me. To help me grow, right?
I've been really having to focus on a lot of that lately. So I found out like 2 weeks ago that I'm getting off parole on Tuesday. And so it wasn't moving out of sober living and like I moved out of sober living and felt fine. Like I'm fine. I can do this. Like, you know how you feel good about it, right? Found out I was getting off parole. I was excited for a couple of days. And then, like, let's be honest, like when you said that we're by no means cured, I haven't really had like a desire to use. I'm scared to use, right? I'm scared to use. I don't want to die. That's what's going to happen. I'm not going back to prison. You know what I mean? Like, maybe I have another recovery in me. I don't know. But like, I find out I'm getting off parole and it's getting closer, and now my mind's going like
self-sabotage.
Like, exactly. Like I could do this, I could do that. And sometimes it's not even using drugs, but some of it is. You know what I mean? Like I'm off paper. Like I don't have to UA. I don't have to. And I was talking to someone about that the other day, and it's like, it's scary. So I just wanted to piggyback off what you said.
No, I get it.
We're like, we're not cured because like I have a year clean. I'm doing good. Now I find out I'm getting off parole, and I'm like, it's kind of scary because that's all I've known my whole life.
Yeah. And it's that structure that's kept you safe and on the right path this last year. Yeah. And now it's not about not.
I don't have the threat of going back to prison over my head. And honestly, that's what got me to go back to treatment. And because I didn't want to go back to prison, right? But now I don't have that over my head. So what's next?
I mean, that's always over your head, especially for
yes, but it's not like
that we carry from the shit we did. That's always over our head.
But it's not like a
immediate consequence. Yeah,
no,
for sure. Man, when I got off paper, I called my sponsor. Shout out to my sponsor, love you, man. He's an OG from California, retired gang member. He's not active. He's not trying to be active. He's just trying to go to work, take care of his family, and live this new way of life and recovery. He's done a lot of federal time, so I mean, he's done time on the yard. He's been in the thick of it when he was out there, right? Like, so I call him. I'm like, hey, I just got off paper. He congratulates me, celebrates with me. Then he hits me with, so what's going to change? What's different? Nothing's different. Ain't nothing going to be different. I'm like, just keep doing the same shit that I was doing while I was on paper. Because, like, I had paper and an APMP agent over my head, right? On my, but they weren't even on my back because I wasn't violating. Like, bro, I started checking every month, but I never popped any dirties from my PO when I got out of treatment. Like, and shout out to my PO while I was on probation. She was super cool, very supportive, right? Like, I had community service hours I had to turn in. And she's like, oh, if I didn't know you was going to meetings, you could have turned your meeting card in and I would have counted those as community service hours. And I was like, oh, but at this point in my recovery, I was like, oh, yeah, well, I mean, I appreciate that, but that's not, like, I'm not going to meetings to get community service hours. I'm going to meetings so I don't fucking die. Yeah. You know what I mean? And, like, I don't, like when you said you might have another recovery in you, like, I'm so scared of going back out or picking up because I respect the disease of addiction. Like, I've come to respect the disease of addiction.
But I don't know if I have that in me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like, I don't, like, it took me 25 years to find the rooms of recovery. I'm afraid if I go back out, I'll never find my way home. And that scares the fucking shit out of me. Like, I was never an IV user and never dealt with OD until working in a treatment center. And being in sober living. That's the first time I've ever dealt with OD, right? The thing that scared me the most, and it still does to this day, is that like it took me 25 years to find my way home. I'm afraid if I went back out, I'll never find my way home again. And yeah, brother, just keep doing what you're doing now, even though the PO ain't gonna be there in a couple of months. Like you've earned that, dog. You earned that. Put in the work for that. Like, just keep doing what you're doing, baby. Nothing's got to change.
When we sat down and I talked to him, and he was telling me he was going to put in for termination. That's what I told him. I said, I'm not going to be doing anything different, right? Because at the time, it wasn't like set in stone. Mm-hmm. And I'm not going to do anything different. But it's just like that. For me, that it's like that's the disease talking. Like you know what I mean? I haven't really had. I mean, I've had an obsession to use every now and then, right? But not like the freedom to do it if I so choose to. You know what I mean? Like I do have the freedom to go use, but I just don't want to. You know what I mean? Yeah, I have these consequences that are immediate, and so it's like now that it's coming up, it's different. Does that make sense? It's different than talking about it before it was set in stone that I'm getting off. When we were talking about getting off, I was like, yeah, I'm good. And now it's coming up. It's like, fuck, I'm almost there. Just keep me on.
Yeah. Have you asked for an extension?
I'll come see you once a month for the rest of my life. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like life is good. I'll pay you $40 a month, whatever, dude. Yeah, it ain't nothing. I liked before we started this interview, I liked what we were talking about before the interview. You told me that your sponsor's gotten you going to 5 meetings a week. Now that you're out of sober living, that way you can just stay continuous with the routine of going to meetings on a regular basis.
Yeah, he told me because I was living at my aunt's when I relapsed. My aunt is next door to my mom, and I didn't relapse because of them. It was all because of me, right? But he was like, you were basically living where you're living now, basically.
Yeah.
When you started using and shit went wrong, and he's like, so, and I've been sticking to that. And he's like, so sober living rules: 5 meetings a week, your first 30 days. After that, hit 3.
Hell yeah.
You know,
I love that. Your sponsor's a good dude, man. What I did when I got moved out of sober living is I went to Walmart and I bought little cue card things for meeting cards, and I would held myself to a meeting card attendance slip after sober living, like, and the mindset is if I'm not putting that meeting card in a basket, getting it signed 3 times a week, no, I'm not in sober living. I don't have to live by this rule no more. But I thrive under structure.
Yeah,
I grow under structure, right? I was worried that I would get stagnant. Now that I didn't have that structure behind me, right? That accountability behind me, I was worried I'd get stagnant, and I'd make excuses not to go because I've seen what it looks like for others who stop showing up for their program, for their recovery. And so I went and bought those cue cards, and I'm still dropping that card in the basket. Actually, in my wallet, I got it's torn up, like it was a whole card and it tore eventually after like a year or whatever. But I still got the other half of that card in my wallet. I carry it with me in my wallet with my 2 coins, my 1-year coin and my 4-year coin, to remind me the importance of meeting attendance. Right? Yeah, they say meeting makers make it, but going to meetings aren't just for some people going just to meetings and it works for them. But for me, I got to do more than just going to meetings, right? But like, thank God for sober living, and the accountability it gave me, the structure it gave me, and the brotherhood that I had there. But it conditioned me for 3 meetings a week, right? So I love that your sponsor's doing this with suggestion for you, and I love that you're willing to take his suggestion. You know what I mean? Because it's going to help you stay in routine with your meeting attendance, so you don't get lazy and slack on it. Like, I love that your sponsor gave you that suggestion. That's rad. When you hear 1 day at a time, what does 1 day at a time mean to you?
I kind of live by that because I quit making a promise that, I mean, I've told my mom this, I've told people in recovery, like, I can't promise that I'm going to be clean tomorrow. You know what I mean? The best thing I can do is like go to sleep clean, wake up clean.
Yeah.
That's, and I can't even promise that. I can't promise it. I might hear some bad news. Like, I have my phone on silent, right? I might leave here, have some bad news. I can't guarantee that I'm going to be clean in 3 hours. I can't guarantee, but the best thing I can do is just take it one day at a time and take things as they come and use what I was taught in treatment and the people around me and utilize those things and just moment to moment kind of thing.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
one day at a time. Cause I can't promise that. I can't promise that, and I won't.
I don't want to either, because, and like in my relationship now with my partner, like, she's never asked me, well, don't you got to stop going? Can't you stop going to meetings because you've done all this work? She's never asked me that. Like, she was with a different kind of addict in her last relationship. Her husband was a sex addict and caused a lot of wreckage in her life, her kids' life. But she's never been with an addict like me. That's a fucking dope fiend and doesn't know how to say no again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, but she's come to enough meetings to get it. Like, if she wants to continue having this version of me that I'm able to bring to the table for our relationship, which for both of us is the healthiest relationship either of us have ever had in our life of dating. Like, she gets it that like this recovery shit has to come first, right? And so she's never asked, oh, aren't you good enough or well enough where you don't have to go to meetings anymore? And shout out to my girl for being my biggest cheerleader in recovery. I love you, babe. Thank you. Back to what does it mean one day at a time? Like, I told so many people this time is different. I made all these promises. Like, I'm not making that promise ever again. Like, all I got is just for today. And if I do something for my recovery today, I'm gonna go to bed clean tonight.
Yeah.
And I'll wake up clean tomorrow. I don't know what tomorrow looks like, but I know I have the desire and the willingness to do something for my recovery tomorrow, right? I have this thing, this saying I've been living by lately is rent is due every day.
Yep.
And when it comes to recovery, they talk about, and it's a 12-step program of recovery that we fellowship with. They talk about daily maintenance, right? But I call it rent. I call it paying rent every day. Rent is due every day for my recovery. Like, it's not rent is due once a month or when it's convenient. Like, rent is due every day. If I want to go to bed clean tonight, I need to be doing something for my recovery today.
Yeah.
And if I want to be living clean in my best life tomorrow, I need to be doing something for my recovery tomorrow. Now, like, so I get the whole concept. For me, I get the whole concept of one day at a time, because we're not promised tomorrow. But like, have I been trying to make chess moves in my life where I make a move here that sets me up down the board over there? Absolutely, right? Like, I'm looking down the field before I pass the ball. I'm looking down the field to see what's open, what doors are open, or like, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, so yeah, I'll look downfield, and sometimes it can lead to future tripping. But like, yeah, like, you, at some point in some areas in your life, you gotta be looking downfield to move your chess pieces. Where if you make a move here today, how could that affect down the board later, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Real quick,
Yeah.
you might have to edit this out, but I gotta pee.
Fuck, why would you do that right now? I don't know how to edit it, dog. Just keep going. This fucking guy. I told you I don't know how to do that. Shut the fuck up. It's just fucked it up. I don't know how to fucking do that. Anyways, he's good. We're rolling.
Okay.
Yeah. Relationships. How has recovery changed your family relationships?
Well, one, my mom said that I would never live in her house again.
Okay.
Now I'm living there. I'm paying rent. I'm driving her car.
Okay.
You know, like, if that says anything at all. I was told that after I paroled there and fucked everything up, like, I stole a bunch of money from her, from my brother, from my sister, like a fuck ton of money. I was told I would never live there again.
Okay.
And now, 6 years later, you know what I mean? I'm living there. My siblings are out of the house, but they're all aware of it, and they know what's going on, and everyone feels a little bit more comfortable. I don't know how comfortable they feel, but like, I'm driving her fucking car around.
Okay. Yeah.
Like,
your mom trusts you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, like I was just sharing, this is the most healthiest relationship I've had with another woman. This is the healthiest relationship I've ever had with myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to go into details about my relationship with my stepdad. But because of recovery, I've showed up and done my part and the best I can to one, contribute to a healthy relationship and make an effort to a connection with him. And because of recovery, I worked to step 9, and I was able to, he wouldn't answer the door, but I was able to put my 9-step amends letter in his mailbox, and all I could do is do my part and hope that he read it. You know what I mean? And leave the rest of my higher power. And have you had to make amends? What does that look like for you? I mean, I'm sure you had to make amends with mom if you're living at home with her and she's letting you drive the car.
For her, it's just showing up and showing that I can be trusted, that I'm trying. I don't remember if it was my girlfriend she said it to or my aunt, but she told somebody like this is the best she's ever seen me. I think it was my girlfriend. I think she said it to my girlfriend.
That shit feels good, huh?
Yeah.
That shit feels good.
Yeah, and I don't know if she even knows that I heard that, but yeah. Like, this is the best that she's ever seen me. Dude, like, I've been able to show for my family. My uncle was going through some shit, and I was able to go up with them to Nephi a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I remember
we had an intervention with my uncle. He went to detox. He got out. Shit happened. He went to rehab. He's doing good now, but I'm able to, like, help, right? Like, I'm able to, like, my family's, I can be trusted at their house.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, I can show up to a family function. I can show up and be trusted.
That living amends.
Yeah.
And with your case, it sounds like an in-person living amends by the change behavior.
The same aunt and uncle, right? I remember when I was on parole, I just got out of prison after doing 2 years. And their son, he was younger at the time, came down to visit. St. George came down to visit family. He was staying at my mom's. And I remember he had his parents, my aunt and uncle, on speaker and was talking to him. And I was in the bathroom and I heard them tell him, don't say that we sent you with money in front of Cy because he'll take it or something. They said something like that. And now, like, I'm allowed in their house. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, I'm allowed in their house by myself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm trusted. It feels really good to go from hearing that to being trusted. Like, my aunt has texted me and, like, we're proud of you. We're proud of who you become. Like, we're, you know, that, yes. Yeah.
And so it sounds like just the way you're living day by day.
Doing the next right thing.
Yeah. You're living amends to your family, the things that you did wrong. Brother, that's beautiful, brother.
Yeah.
So a lot of my amends that look like living amends were, I've been able to give a 9-step letter amends to my daughter's mom, my 10-year-old daughter's mom. I was able to give her one of my 9-step letters. But like outside of that, like I got the letters for my kids when they get older. But outside of that, and besides my dad, I did a letter to my mom, and that was the most beautiful experience of step 9 for me. I'm at my mom. My mom's passed away. She passed away when I was 17. We went up north. We drove up north so I could do these amends, right? Like I gave one to my older brother, who in the beginning I didn't feel like he deserved it because he was a lot of the cause of all my trauma growing up. And well, not all of it, but he was a big factor in it, right? But I still did it anyway, so I could clean up my side of the street, so I could be comfortable in my own skin. But when I went up and did the one with my mom, I went up there, and I still struggle today with crying. Like there's moments where I just really want to have an ugly cry to release some pressure and just feel better, and I don't know how. Like I could feel it wanting to come out, but there's still that wall up that I hid behind an active addiction that will stop it from happening. And I leaned into my higher power at this moment, and I was like, I just want to feel. If I cry, just let me cry. I just want to cry. And I had the most beautiful cry with my mom doing my 9-step amends letter. And then like I'm crying 1 minute doing my amends with her, and then the next minute I'm laughing,
Yeah.
telling her, I was like, "Can you believe this?" I was like, "Who would it?" I was like, "Can you believe me of all people and all the shit I've done? I got people who are asking me to sponsor them and help them to stop getting loaded and stop committing crimes." And I laughed because I was like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? I would have never thought of that of me, and that would have been my life today, and neither would have she. Even granted that, bless her heart, she's always wanted nothing but the best for me, right? Like
Yeah.
this woman, she tried to heal wounds, my wounds that she didn't cause, and she just wasn't able to heal them, right? And and that just made me laugh. That I was like, mom, people were asking me to help them to not do drugs and to help them not commit crimes. You know what I mean? I was like, who would have knew, right? And it was the most beautiful thing I've ever experienced. But outside of those, like, I just get to make it a living amends by the way I carry myself different today. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Um, and if it ever happens that these people I owe amends to in my family, ex-wives, um, my dad, my stepdad, right? Like, if it happens, it happens, and if it doesn't, I just get to keep doing different and being better, and just I get to be in radical acceptance that a living amends from a long distance gets to be okay. You know, um, what does forgiveness mean to you? Forgiveness. Let's start with more importantly. What does forgiveness of yourself mean to you?
I don't. That's. I don't really know. That's something I'm still working on.
And that's
You know
okay.
what I mean? Like,
Yeah, that's okay, dude.
That's something I'm still working on.
Yeah,
Like,
that's okay, dude. Not,
but
you know
what
what I
is
mean?
forgiveness to me? Being able to let go. Like me and my stepdad. Like being able to let go of that. You know what I mean? Like I'm not angry. I don't have these like hurtful feelings anymore.
Okay.
Like I remember being a little kid, and he'd go to work and he used to drink all the time. So he'd be driving drunk. And I remember thinking as a little kid, like, I don't think I'd feel bad if he got in a car wreck and died. And now I'm like, I don't hate him no more. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't right. It was wrong. He knows right from wrong. He's an adult, but again, it goes back to like, I'm not a product of him. I'm a product of
His predecessor.
his trauma. Yeah. Like being able to let go of things.
That's beautiful, man. That's huge. That's mature. That's fucking beautiful, brother. That you're able to be in a place with that with him. I can relate to like. I kind of think I know how to answer that question with self. And all I can say is like through step work, I've been able to come to a place that I can start forgiving myself. Like I said, I started using it at the age of 9 at a really young age. Like instead of allowing my inner child or the child I was then to have a voice and feel his feelings, two, have a voice to share his feelings, and three, to acknowledge them and work through them when my parents try to give me help. Like one of my biggest things is being able to forgive myself for neglecting my inner child, right? Because I neglected that inner child, that trauma just compounded and got worse as I got older, and I bled on people that didn't cut me, right? And but also that also came with a lot of shame and guilt for bleeding on people that didn't cut me, and it's through step work. That weight of that shame and guilt isn't as heavy to carry today as it was before, right? Like, and a lot of that I was able to set down going through step 4 and 5 with my sponsor. Like step 4, like at first I feared it at first because there was a lot of skeletons that I buried in the closet that I buried them for a reason. And now you want me to dig them out and knock the dust off and go through them. I was afraid I was going to get stuck in a dark place and of shame and guilt, right? And so it took me a year to go through my step 4, and but it was the most beautiful healing experience in the step work for me so far because it was the first time I looked at myself authentically in the mirror, eye to eye, started taking accountability. I was able to start peeling back the layers of the masks that I had created in active addiction growing up. Um, and it also helped me to see on paper my assets. Like, I'm not this piece of shit that I believe myself to be. I wasn't a bad person. I was just doing bad things. That's all I knew how to do. And when I did the asset section, that really helped shed light. Like, Sheldon, you really are a good person, man.
Yeah.
There are good things about you. Let's start fucking shining light on those and start bringing those into fruition. You know what I mean? Start bringing those into reality. Let's start watering those seeds so they can be nourished and grow, right? And yeah, so like forgiveness is, I guess, accepting that, like, I know what I did, take accountability for it, be a better person today than I was back then, and not allow myself to believe that I'm some horrible fucking monster. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, I guess that's how I would answer that. How has learning to trust people changed your life?
I still have a hard problem with that. I have a hard problem with like people believing that people are going to do what they say or be there at a certain time. I have a there is a few people I trust, and one of them is my girlfriend. Like, I trust my mom, I trust my family. There's some really good friends in recovery down here I trust, but it's hard for me to just put trust out there, right? Like, a lot of the people that I trust the most, like one of my best friends, my brother in Arizona, like, we went through the ringer together in addiction. Both of us ended up going to prison. Me and Utah, him out there in Wyoming. But like, I had this misguided view of like loyalty when I was in addiction, like, and I was to certain people, right? But to everyone else, I was a fucking dirtbag. I didn't care how old you were. I didn't care. I didn't give a fuck. But like, there's some people that I've went through the ringer with that I trust with my life. But trust comes with like levels with me. You know what I mean? Like, it's still hard for me to like give that trust out to people, even something simple, small, like picking me up at a certain time or telling me the truth or whatever. It's hard for me to.
Sure. I mean, like, sounds like from your childhood and or things that I can relate to is like we've just been let down by other people so many times that like we came to believe that the only thing we can count on is ourselves. You know what I mean? And so it's like I relate to that. You know what I mean? Like I shared earlier, I've been struggling to trust the life process of life on life's terms, right?
I mean, fuck, dude. I trust people I was locked up in prison with it more than I trust people out here doing the right thing, you know?
So like my sponsor, right? Like, it wasn't like, oh, I got a sponsor and I'm going to tell you everything, and then I'm going to tell you all the things so you can speak in my life. Like, it was levels of trust with him, right? Like,
yeah.
When we finished up step 5, admitting to ourselves, to another person, and to our higher power, the nature of our wrongs, like, I just hugged that man so tight, and I just told him, thank you. I love you. Thank you for being somebody that I can trust to share these things with. That I know when you walk out this door, it stays here. Like, and that was huge for me, right? But it came with levels of trust. And sure, were there points in early recovery with him that like I should have been more transparent with him? Absolutely. But it took levels of trust because if you see what I was or who I was back then, you wouldn't love me.
Yeah.
And if you don't love me, then I don't love me. And I still struggle with that today, right? Like, I still struggle with that today. So I get the levels of trust thing, brother. Who you are today that addiction ever allowed you to be?
Honest. This is not really one word to describe it. Like, I'm able to be held, like I'm able to be held accountable and take it. Most of the time I'm able to accept feedback or advice, or I try to live like the opposite of what I did. So when I'm in my active addiction or I'm doing dumb shit and I'm not in the right head, like whatever I did then, I try and do the opposite now. Like when a situation comes up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whether it be honesty or showing up for myself or standing up for what I believe, or like just doing the opposite of what I did when I was doing dumb shit.
Mm. Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
Like I'm able to do that for the most part.
Dude, and I see like in our area, right? Because that's where we go to meetings all the time is in our area, right? But like people have gotten to know, it's like they've had no problem gaining their identity of who they are without drugs, right? Like the only identity I had for 25 years was a fucking dope fiend and an addict, right? Who's running from his pain or who likes to party, right? And then when I got into recovery, and my friend's wife, who's now a clinical director of her own treatment center, she's got 20. She just celebrated 20 years clean this year. We were in her office. No, it was her husband's office. My buddy, that I told you about earlier. And she challenged me to stop being program Sheldon and just be Sheldon, right?
Yeah.
Like, and it's not that she was telling me to stop working a program. She's like, I want to get to know who Sheldon is outside the program. Like, who are you? Who is Sheldon? Like, program Sheldon is great. But she really challenged me to like start finding my identity of who I am, right? And this is at like 3 years clean, 3.5 years clean. This conversation happened, right? Because for that, from when I got in recovery to that conversation, like all I known was either old Sheldon or this new Sheldon. And this new Sheldon is 12-step program of recovery Sheldon. And I like this guy. Like I can be comfortable in my skin for the most part with this guy. Like he's a good dude, right? Like he's doing esteemable things. You know what I mean? He's doing things that he never thought were possible when it comes to just like kind, caring, compassionate, which I had those things back then too. They just were far few in between because, I mean, I was fucking angry and miserable, man. And so like even at almost 5 years clean, I'm still figuring out like who my identity is outside of the rooms, right? Like who am I? Like what do I do in my free time? And doing this right here with you, this is a new passion. And I discovered that like this is what I like to do in my free time, right? Like um but I still haven't quite figured out my identity. I know part of my identity today is that like I'm a 5-year old living in a grown man's body.
Yeah.
And there's truth to that, right? Like I'm almost 5 years old, just learning how to live life for the fucking first time, you know? And I want to get out there and I want to play and I want to feel, I want to fall down and scrape my knee. Like this whole chapter right now is about letting my inner child come out and play and let him feel and let him have a voice and let him heal, more importantly, right? But there's parts of my identity like I'm still figuring out. Like I don't have my kids in my life right now, and like even when I was in active addiction, I was still present for my kids. Like I never missed when it was my time to pick my daughter up. I never missed uh, visitation days, and I mean it was always a battle for baby mama to get more time with my kid from her. She was like fucking, she was a gatekeeper when it came to spending time with my kid, and I understand why now. Um, like part of me is like I don't know who my identity is without my kids either, and that's been hard to deal with. Um, but I know that like today, I'm proud to be an addict in recovery. I know that my life is beautiful. I know I'm a good person, and I'm capable of doing good things. Like those things I've been able to identify in my identity, right? Like I'm obnoxious. I'm a goof. I'm a goof troop. I like to make people laugh. You know what I mean? Those things I've been able to identify, and you know what I mean. And if I had spent another 5 years figuring out my identity, cool, man.
It is
Enjoying
what it
the
is.
journey. Yeah, I'm just enjoying the journey, man. Um, what are you most proud of?
Getting off parole.
Hell yeah, dude.
To be honest with you, like, granted, like I have those thoughts that creep up in my head, but it's like at the same time, like I never thought that, dude, like I can go see family out of state, dude. My mom, they take my family is going on a trip in November to Laughlin, and my family in Arizona is going to be there. I haven't seen them since I was a kid. Like I'm able to like leave the state. I wasn't able to leave the state while I was on parole because I was never up to date on my supervision fees, and you can't get a
interstate compact.
You can't get a travel permit if you're not up to date, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like unless it's for work. If it's for work, that's different. But like I'm off on Tuesday. Like I can go do these things now.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like, I could go on a fucking cruise if I want to.
When I called my girl, I was like, as a guest who can leave the state of Utah without having to ask permission.
Yeah.
Hey,
that feels nice.
Yo, dude, that's that's rad. Like we celebrate shit like that because those are huge for us. That's huge for us.
Like I'm excited. Yeah.
And we go share that with a normie. I mean, they're just not going to get it. They're going to look at you like, what?
I can live wherever the fuck I want to.
Yeah.
I can, you know what I mean? I can go to Mesquite to get vape juice with my girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
So I haven't been able to go.
I mean, I still,
because if I were to get pulled over coming out of the gorge on the Nevada side, I don't have to worry about my PO getting a fucking phone call saying your parolee was pulled over in a different state. You know, I don't have to deal with that. I can go.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. I mean, I still snuck over state lines from time to time. Now, when me and my girl, when we went to Yellowstone to go for a camping trip, when we first started dating, we went on a camping trip at Yellowstone. Like I got a travel pass for that for sure. Because what do I look like? Call my PO or another cop from another county in another state call my PO. I'm like, oh, I got so and so here.
Or you calling your PO and saying, I just had police interaction.
Yeah, exactly.
Let you know before they say it. Or like, well, what the fuck?
Or that fear of the consequences. So I'm like, oh, maybe I don't tell her because then I won't get in trouble and hopefully she won't catch wind of this because it's from fucking Wyoming. You know what I mean?
Yeah. All it takes is a traffic stop, dude.
Yeah, all it is, dude. Yeah, all it is. That's all it takes, man. What goals are you chasing now?
Eventually I want to go back to school. I'm going to figure that out at the end of the year. Again, I'm getting off parole and I just want to like chill, right? Mm-hmm. One thing at work, I got hired back and I was asked, hey, do you want to learn how to do these couple things? Like, it wasn't said it comes with a raise, but it was kind of said. And like, I've been working towards that and I got it. I'm just trying to improve what I have right now. Like, I'm not focused on a bunch of big shit. Like, eventually I want to get my own spot. You know, I want to go back to school. I want to do certain things, but I also just I feel like my whole life has been so hectic that I kind of just want to chill. I just want to chill, dude.
Yeah. Let it mellow out. Like, let it balance back out. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's not a whole lot that I'm like chasing right now. I just, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Like,
stay out of trouble.
Yeah. That's a huge goal to be chasing for us. For people like us, that's a huge goal to be chasing.
I still have character defects that come out. I still have take it back to prison, right? Like prison fucked me up. And there's like certain things like I'm still trying to not you get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So just trying to stay out of trouble.
Yeah, no, it's huge for people like us. I get that, resonate with that a lot. Like, make an early recovery, dude. I was setting goals and smashing them, right? And that's not to say that I'm not setting goals and smashing them today. But my only goal that I've been focused on right now is reunification with my kids and just doing my best to what I call reaching into the cookie jar, making a mess everywhere, right? That's taking my will back and doing it my way, right? I just did a lot. I've been praying a lot lately. Just God, I'm asking for the willingness to trust the process and the open-mindedness to trust the process. And I've been hit with challenges that where I can, not trust the process, what I literally prayed for today, or just fucking keep my hands in my pockets and just trust the process. You know what I mean? And so like my only goal that I'm working on smashing right now, obviously like staying clean is a goal every day. So far, am I smashing that goal for the day? Yeah, right. Like I haven't gone to bed yet. We don't know what's going to happen, but I have a pretty good idea. I'm going to bed clean tonight, right? So I know I'm going to smash that goal. This recovery content that I'm doing, dude, which I never thought I would want to create content. It looked fun, like when the people are doing the funny, goofy stuff. But once I realized that I have a strong message of hope to carry, um, because of working a 12-step program of recovery, um, um, like this whole goal with creating content and expanding and growing my brand, the Rise and Recovery name, what its mission is, like that's a goal that I'm chipping away at smashing, right? But the only goal I'm worried about smashing right now is just getting back to my kids, right? Like, that's the only thing I'm focused on. Like, now, do I want to have some four wheelers and a pop up camp trailer so I can pull some four wheelers up and go camping? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had a camp trailer before. I've had four wheelers before, but that's not my financial priority right now, right? Like, and I think like having just tangible goals that are, because when we can stack up tangible successes from having tangible goals, like that's huge for where we come from, right? Because that really helps build and strengthen our self-esteem, right? And
And like I'm so simple, dude. Like after getting my license, Christmas of 2024.
let's go.
Or was it?
Shout out to
Right
my boy
after
right here. He got his L's
November,
back.
Christmas. I can't remember. It was like 2024. I remember it was Thanksgiving and Christmas, but like after that, and then moving out of sober living just recently and getting off parole, like I'm simple. Like that's I feel like fulfilled. Does that make sense for right now?
Yeah, you're content.
Yeah, I'm content.
Yeah,
is the right word.
And that's cool. That is completely cool, dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What would you say to somebody that's struggling?
Reach out. One thing I was taught, one thing I stick with is if you see somebody that has something you want, do what they do. You know what I mean? And it's the same thing in addiction. When you see somebody that's doing stuff or has stuff you want, you're gonna do what they do, right? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same thing. And it might be, and it's a manipulation of the self, I feel like, but sometimes manipulation can be good, I feel like. If I see somebody that has something or in life that I want, and not even material things, I'm going to do my best to do what they're doing.
Yeah, you're going to mirror their behaviors.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm going to be myself, but I'm going to try and do my best, my version of what they're doing. I'm going to.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, totally. What would you tell a person still that's sitting in their first recovery? What would you tell a person sitting in their first recovery meeting?
Keep coming back.
It sounds cliche.
They took me, dude. Like I was going to NA meetings when I was in Proctor homes. Like one of my Proctor parents, they ran a meeting. But I think if it wasn't for the recovery community, I wouldn't be clean. You know?
Yeah, I do, for sure. I do know what you mean. Because when I moved down here after getting out of treatment, like if I went back to Ogden, it wasn't matter if I get high. It wasn't matter when I get high. And it's because of recovery, the community of recovery, right?
And I think coming back to St. George, even though I grew up down here, caused wreckage down here, got high down here, fucking coming back and being around a different crowd of people that have done the same things and been through the same shit has helped.
Yeah,
because but they're doing something different.
Right. Right. So like I've shared it before, this analogy that I like to use, like there's a coin, right? There's always two sides to a coin. And growing up, the side that I focused on was I listened to other gang members on how to be a gang member. I listened to drug dealers on how to sell drugs, and I listened to convicts on how to commit crimes. And because I listened to those people, I started selling drugs and making money. I started fucking being a gangbanger, and then I learned how to commit crimes faster, smoother, and get away with them for the most part, right? But once I flipped that coin over, and I started listening to the same people
Yep.
that were no longer committing crimes, that were no longer getting high, that were no longer selling drugs, and I started listening to ex-convicts, recovering addicts, and retired gang members on how to live this new way of life. Like, it started clicking because one, you get it. You've been you walk the day in my shoes, and you're doing something different, and it looks good, and it feels good watching you do what you do, and I want that. And so I've kept that side of the coin face up. These last 4 years, right?
And I'm really careful about who I hang out with because my last couple of relapses, like I've heard, and I'm sure you've heard it too. I can't remember if it's 3, 5, 10, whatever, but you take the people that you hang out with the most, you are them.
Yeah.
Right. And like when I was relapsing, I started hanging out with like old friends that weren't clean, that weren't, you know what I mean? And that's when I lost the connection. And eventually that's what I became.
There's a saying I heard that says, show me who you hang out with, and I'll show you who you are.
Yeah, exactly. And as soon as I stopped doing that, I went to treatment, got out, and I've set boundaries with certain people, and I've stuck to those boundaries. Like, I've been doing a lot better. Like, you are who you hang out with.
You are the company.
You are what you eat.
We are the company we keep, for sure. Yep. For sure. For me, what I would say to the addict or alcoholic sitting in their first meeting, win with the stickers and stick with the winners. It sounds cliche, but it's real talk, and it works. Like we just said, you are the company you keep. If you keep people around you who aren't getting loaded, who are working on themselves, working on healing themselves, so they can be a better version of themselves today than they were the day before, who are doing esteemable things, it'll rub off on you. If someone thinks they're too far gone, what would you say to them?
Think again. It can always get worse. You know what I mean? Like you can always be in a worse spot than where you're at. Okay. You know what I mean? Yeah. Even I feel like even if you die, like there's still things that can happen. Like you have family, you have kids, you know what I mean? Who like, does that make sense? Yeah. So what I'm saying makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I feel like it can always get worse, even when you're not around. You know what I mean? Like that's how I feel. I know for me, like things can always get worse. They have always got worse every single time.
Yeah. I think
it's always worse the next time.
For me, what I would say to somebody if they think they're too far gone, by the age of 25, I truly believed that I was going to be a meth addict the rest of my life, that I was going to continue to be in and out of county jail, and for sure go to prison, and that I better figure out real fast how to survive in this lifestyle and just make it as long as I can upright on 2 feet before I end up in the ground permanently. And because I thought this new way of life that I'm living today, thanks to recovery, was impossible, was unachievable, was not doable, and I thought I was unlovable, unwanted, unteachable, unsavable, and I was fucking wrong. I was wrong. I'm loved by others. I can love myself today. I used to believe that I was never going to stop getting high because one, I liked to, and two, I didn't know how to stop. And again, I was wrong. Thanks to a 12-step program of recovery and being of service, having a sponsor, sponsoring other men, and working the steps, not my steps, because my way never works, working the steps of a 12-step program of recovery. I have been saved. what I thought was too far gone has brought me back. What's one lesson recovery has taught you that everyone could benefit from?
Connection is the opposite of addiction. I say that all the time. Again, like connection keeps me coming back. Sometimes it's hard not to feel connected, but sometimes it's hard to like use that connection, like reach out to people and talk to people and see what's going on, and like the whole stigma about men, and you're supposed to just deal with shit, right? But
Don't
for
talk
me,
about it,
like
suck it up.
like connection's such a big part of where I am today that like it's true. Connection is the opposite of addiction. You know what I mean? Like, like if you really sit and think about it, at least for me, it's true, right? Like for me, like when I was in addiction, like, yeah, I was like connected to people, places, and things, but was I really?
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like the absence of connection.
Yeah.
Like you're using drugs.
You was there, but you wasn't there.
Yeah, you're using a substance to like fill something, fill a hole in yourself. But now I have like the community and the people and the resources, and you know, I'm way more connected, like in every way than I ever was just a year ago. You know, being involved and staying connected has kept me clean, and commitments like has kept me clean at times. You know, it's connection.
Yeah. Man, that's a good question. What's one lesson recovery has taught me that everyone could benefit from? I mean, everybody's different, dude. Everybody's gonna have different lessons or things that they can benefit from. I think one thing that everybody could benefit from is working around the steps, right? Like, I even think normies could use working some steps in their life, because it has really got to, one, get to know me. It's taught me how to surrender to the things that I'm powerless over and the things that cause me to be unmanageable, right? It's helped me to have a more conscious contact with my higher power than I've ever had before, right? It's led me to a place of being able to be spiritual, right? Like, religion never worked for me, but how this is a spiritual based program, man, I've had more conscious contact with a higher power than I've ever had, right? And then like just learning how to be the best version of yourself, because when we are the best version of ourselves, that equals to us being the best version of ourselves for other people, right? And I think everybody could benefit from working around the steps.
Yeah.
All right, now we're in the rapid fire section. Coffee or energy drinks?
Yeah, energy drinks, dude. I already drink coffee in prison.
Yeah, we were at a meeting the other night. The Friday night newcomer. Shout out to the Friday night newcomer meeting. We were at the meeting, and I kind of had to let him look over the interview questions for tonight, and he's like, "Man, fuck coffee. I only drink that shit."
Yeah. Fuck that shit, dude.
I'm like in the beginning, it was all coffee and energy drinks all the time, and then I was always caffeine crashing, and I was just like, man, now I got another codependency, like,
yeah,
dude. And now, like, I've pretty much cut it all out of my life, right? But when I like drink a cup of coffee or energy drink, oh man, I get like wired, dude. I'm like, oh, fuck, I'm ready to go, boy. I'm fast AF.
Very unhealthy, dude. But that's what gets me through the workday.
Morning person or a night owl?
Used to be a morning person. Now like I'm up at night.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll sleep in. I love sleeping in now. Maybe don't sleep in as much as normal people do, but yeah. I'll stay up sometimes till midnight, dude, and then regret it when I gotta be up at 5 a.m. to get ready for work the next day.
Yeah. I know how you feel, dude. When I was working at the vitamin plant doing manufacturing work, not get to sleep till 12 o'clock at night, sometimes 1, because I got out of the meeting late and I got to come home and eat dinner.
Yeah.
And then I got to wind down. I'm going to watch my show. And by the time I actually fall asleep, it's like 12 o'clock at night, and I gotta be up at 5. Oh,
Yeah.
it makes for a crappy day.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it doesn't make for a crappy day, but it, you know, what I mean, I'm just exhausted, right? Lately I've been a night owl. Like after working graveyards at a treatment center, like I'm having a hard time going to sleep at regular hours, but now I'm working like a 9 to 5 where I actually gotta be to work by 9. So I get up at 7 so I can have a cup of coffee in the morning.
Yeah.
And then get ready for work and be there on time, right? So I'm transitioning back into a morning person. I like sleeping into like 8 or 9, but like if I slept any later than that, I feel like I'm wasting my day. I'm wasting the day away, right? Favorite recovery slogan and why?
What do you mean by slogan?
Whatever. Anything that they call cliches, right?
Work it because you're worth it.
But it's so true, though.
Yeah.
It's so true. It, yeah, like as cliche as it sounds, it's true, though.
Yep.
Buddy, that's my boy, huh? I think for me, favorite recovery slogan is "Don't leave 5 minutes before the miracle." Right?
I like that one.
What is your favorite meeting? What about it? Why and what about it?
The newcomer meeting.
Okay.
Just because what it stands for, really. And I think when I came to treatment down here, I believe that was the first meeting that they took us to when I first came down here.
Okay.
It's huge. Some days it's not, but most of the time it's pretty
that
packed.
you guys fill that room up almost every Friday.
That's a big room.
Yeah.
That's a pretty big room.
I've
seen it to where there's not enough chairs for people. And there's people outside the door, sitting outside the door.
So I'm working on changing up my meeting routine. Not that I've become stagnant in my meeting routine. It's just I don't know. I'm probably me getting in my head, but like I'm not feeling like the connection with the people I had in the beginning. So I'm feeling kind of like isolated from the herd. And I'm sure I'm positive that's my disease that's doing that, right? But also changing it up after a change up is not a bad thing, right? Change up your routine, keep it fresh is not a bad thing either, right? One of my favorite meetings to go to is also your home group, the newcomer, right? Because that meeting's centered around welcoming the newcomer, and because they really are the most important person, right? But I like that meeting a lot because the fellowshipping before that happens there, where everybody's out on the sidewalk smoking and everybody's just fellowshipping before the meeting. Another one that I really like, that I haven't been to in a while, is a Saturday night meeting. We all go out to dinner and then fellowshipping after. But like if I really want to go for like where there's going to be all the meetings here in town have a strong message of hope. Like if you get a chance to pass through St. George, stay long enough to hit a meeting. There is a badass community of recovery down here, and our message of hope in Southern Utah is strong. But the all men spiritual meeting on Sunday at the Alano Club, I really like that meeting because when I go in there, like I'm seeing other men they call themselves out on their shit, like not somebody else calling somebody else across the room out, but like they're holding themselves accountable to their shit. But here's a solution to what I did to the shit I was doing that the program has given me, right? I'm watching men, I mean, gangsters, fucking hard asses, fucking convicts, even hippies, whatever, right? Just all walks of life of different men be vulnerable. And no one's judging them or shaming them. No one's like, oh, you're a man, you shouldn't be crying or X, Y, and Z. It's just a safe place for me to be around other men and be vulnerable.
Yeah.
And I love that about that meeting. Biggest blessing in recovery so far?
The connections I have with people.
I'd say my biggest blessing in recovery so far is I got my fucking life back. I got my fucking life back, man. Like I have a life worth living today, even on a bad day in recovery. I still have a life worth living today, right? What's something people would never guess about you today? Or sorry, what's something about you that people would never guess?
I mean, those who knew me before, I don't really know. I mean, guess for those people that knew me before,
What's something about you that I don't know that I would have never guessed?
just random.
Yeah, this is rapid fire, dude.
I've lived in, I think, like 5 different states.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I would have never guessed
Utah,
that. Dude.
Utah, obviously.
Okay.
I lived in Nevada for a little bit, Mesquite.
Okay.
I've lived in Illinois. I've lived in Oregon.
Okay.
And South Dakota.
Yeah, I would have never guessed those in the other states.
Yeah.
Rad, dude. Rad. Mm-hmm. I've been to Oregon for family reunions. Yeah. I've never been to Illinois. And what was the other one?
South Dakota.
Never been there either.
There ain't nothing.
I've come close being in Yellowstone, right? Like, I thought about driving over there just to say I've been there, but I haven't been there.
Yeah, there's nothing over there. They have national grasslands. There's no mountains.
There's the is it North Dakota where it has the President Monument?
No, it's South Dakota, but that's on the western side of South Dakota where it borders Wyoming.
Okay.
I can't remember what the name of the mountain range is called, but yeah, but that's the only place in South Dakota where there's mountains. Mm. There's nothing out there. I lived in the northeast corner, like 20 minutes from North Dakota, 20 minutes from Minnesota.
Okay.
There's nothing out there except for bars and casinos.
Okay.
And fields, cornfields.
I used to skateboard growing up. It was pretty good. I wasn't no kick flipping the 16 set of stairs or grinding down handrails, but I was pretty good. I was decent. And I can snowboard too. I haven't been in a while, but I know how to carve down a mountain. I don't know how to surf. I've never been to California. I've never seen the ocean.
I'm scared of the ocean.
Right? Like, dude, I want to see the ocean.
Can't see what's around me.
Yeah. You don't know what's underneath you, and you're no longer the top of the food chain.
So we went to Oregon to the coast for my honeymoon when we had our wedding, and I wouldn't even go in the ocean.
No.
I
want to learn how to surf, dude. I can ride a skateboard. I can snowboard. I want to learn how to surf, so I can say I rode all 3 boards.
Yeah. Wakeboarding's close enough.
Describe recovery in 1 word.
Awesome.
Fuck yeah, it is. Fuck yeah, it is. For me, I would say healing. For sure, healing, right? If you were to ask someone what they remember from tonight, one thing that they remember from this conversation, what do you hope it is?
That it can get better. But you got to put in the work, you know? And again, like, I guess connections, like, get connected and stay connected, because that's what's keeping me clean today. You know? Huge. And if I didn't have these people to talk to, or these people to be around, or these meetings to go to, or whatever, I'd be sitting in prison, or I'd be loaded, or I'd be dead.
No, that's facts.
100%.
Yeah. Facts.
And if it's not any of those 3, then I'm looking for my next fix.
So community, internal work on self, connection. I love that. Recovery isn't just possible, it's happening every day. If you're struggling, keep reaching out. Keep showing up. Your story isn't over yet. Thanks for spending the time with us, and we'll see you next time on Rise and Recovery. And shout out to my boy, Sai. Thank you for spending the evening with me, getting to know you and your story. It's been a blessing, man. And I really do appreciate your support. And I really appreciate your support for Rise and Recovery, and just the simple fact that you were willing to sit with me tonight and help me carry a message of hope, so we can be living in step 12 for our program, because of this and carrying a message of hope and living in step 12, we're able to stay clean tonight. So with that, we'll take another 24. Until next time, guys, much love.